Kalimera, Kalispera, Kalinichta. No matter where in this weird and wonderful world you may be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad once again part of your day. Damn it.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Hello, everyone. Arsenal versus Manchester City. Different game, same ending. Feels like those awful Nightmare on Elm Street films. First one's really good, and then the rest, you just know how they're going to end. Hello, everyone. At ease, everyone. At ease. I am flying solo this evening. And it's good to be here with each and every one of you. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Welcome to the show. What a disappointing match. I'm wearing sunglasses, because I have a terrible headache. I'm going to try and take them off, though, now because I have to see your comments. So please forgive me. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Fuck! Okay. There. I said it out loud. Screw the YouTube algorithm right there. Supposedly there is one. Let's say hi to everyone first. Gooner Rose. Poor me. Yeah, look at my hair, Newman. I look like an 80s pop star, one that you admire, perhaps. Me too. Me too, Matt G. I usually go fast and I go but Kev isn't here. Okay. But he will be here at some point in the near future. It's his son's birthday, if you like to know, and he is having a night off. I'm here. Kev's not here. All right? I've been holding a lot back. So this might be the night for those who just want to be positive. You can be, and I am. But for those who want to hear some home truths, stick with me. All right? Because we're going to have an honest conversation on what happened in this game. Evgeny, I'm okay. Not too bad. Bit tired, bit sleep deprived, if I'm going to be honest. I did Sky Sports News late last night for me. Had a whole day of stuff. Yeah. And as you know, I'm taking you on this journey with me too. So we had a big day yesterday, but thank you for asking. Let's not be negative, FC. Dare you say anything? Come here. Who wants to come on air with me right now and say something? I will send you the link and bring you in. I like flying solo. No problem with that. But if you want to come in and have your say, let me know what you think. I have notes. I never make notes. All right? And I have notes. No plan B. Tammy, do you want to share with everyone, the guy who's asking for Super Kev, what I said to Super Kev last Monday Madness? And a lot of people came at me and Super Kev was talking all over me and not understanding what I was talking about regarding a plan B. Do you guys remember that show? Love you too, Rocky. I watched Rocky 2 last night. We needed if we had a big day. No, it was 2 nights ago. We were having a big day yesterday. So we watched Rocky 2 with the City game coming up as well. We're all one game at a time. Damn it. Anyway, you were right, Sophie. I agree with you, Sophie. Thank you. Who wants to come on? No plan B. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do what, Kenny? Okay, so let's talk about the mistakes. Tomiyasu, horrible mistake. Should Tomiyasu have been starting the game? Now, you could say yes, because of the physicality part and how aerially perhaps Arteta wanted him to support the back line with Haaland, right? But for the same token that Martinelli started because he's got us there, Benjamin White is sat, right? So for all the talk about we need to change things up, I guess it's only pertaining to certain positions and players. What Zinchenko, who I love, was awful again today. The second goal, he was the one who had the horrible touch to begin with. And then Gabriel had a second horrible touch. And then the play ensued. There was nothing anyone can do. And Grealish bangs it in the back of the net. Gabriel went back to a little bit of, what have I been saying to you guys on this show? What have I been saying to you guys on this show? Mental. By the way, where are my yellow and red cards? Taib, I agree with you on this. Yeah. These are the questions I was asking, and people told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Some people even wrote to me and said, you don't know football. Because I said we make too many like-for-like substitutions. And if you make like-for-like substitutions, what are you doing to combat your opponent and try and nullify their mistakes? As you saw, the Bernardo Silva experiment that Pep Guardiola tried to undertake in the first half failed. We were superb and superior in the first half. He made adjustments in the second half, and I don't even know if we played in that second half. But let me tell you something. In that first half, Saka played like a superstar and was marked like a superstar. But this kid can't continue to keep doing it on his own in these big moments. And I tell you what else I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anyone telling me that Thomas Partey wasn't playing and we laughed because Thomas Partey wasn't playing. No. Jorginho actually had a really good game. In fact, in the first half, his stats were pretty impressive. And there were a couple of occasions where he yelled at Eddie. He yelled at Martinelli. He was trying to dictate movement. He's not the reason why we lost. No. No, we lost because here. And I've been saying it over and over again. Here, and what is our plan B? I mean, you know, just saying. All right, here we go. If anyone wants to come in and have their say, I'll put the link in right there. Hit it and come in, and I'll bring you into the show. Amira says Jorginho was actually our best player. Difference was De Bruyne. He took over in the second half. They took over in the second half. This is the difference between us and them. Their £100 million player scored the winning goal. Our Hayland guy, who is a lovely, lovely player, and I really adore him, and he brings us to a certain point, but credit, I'll give Kev the benefit of the doubt here too. We've said that over a period of games, when it gets to 5-6, but then you go beyond that, what does Eddie offer? What can he offer? Everton, he didn't offer much. Brentford didn't offer much. This game, I'm sorry, he had 2 or 3 really good chances, and he was awful. Absolutely awful. I put the link up already. Here you go. Let me bring in my. Let's bring in an OG here.
First half, he cut a bit of a frustrated figure.
You're going to have to mute the telly, Demsec.
I mean, talk about drought. Not
look at your living room.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Go on. I'm stuttering this end. That's my problem. And I don't know whether I'm stuttering your end.
Listen, you're not stuttering now. Let me tell me what you think. I know you were listening to the show where I said to Kev, what's our plan B? We're too like for like. We can't mix it up. But also landmark moments like this, Demsec, we've got to close the deal. Tell me what you saw tonight. Tell me what your takeaways are real quick.
We kicked ourselves in the bottom, to put it politely.
Would you have played? Do you understand, though, why he played Tommy tonight?
Yeah, because Ben White's not been off form.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, isn't it? When you bring a player into a big game that's not been playing, you always risk them making a big mistake. and that happened. And you don't normally see that from Tommy, to be honest. And the other thing also is that I think KDB is very bright in that he outstrips Saliba. It's almost as if he knows what's going to happen. So, yeah.
I thought Saliba, I did think Saliba overall today had a better game than he did against Brentford. And I think Gabriel kind of reverted back to the type that some Arsenal fans think that he was. We got away with the penalty because of the offside. GD, are you joking me? You come on air right now and explain to you're messing with me, aren't you? Because you know I'm tired.
Well, I think what you see is two parts of Haaland, right? Haaland targets Saliba in the first half, doesn't really get anywhere. Second half, he targets Gabby. And you see the outcome on the pitch. Haaland starts to get the better of Gabby. The first half, Saliba pretty much had Haaland covered. But he just switched centre-back. And Gabby, for whatever reason, couldn't quite deal with him. And that led to the mix-up and the lucky not penalty because he was offside beforehand. But also, Gabby was sloppy with his passing for the second goal. Not being aware of players around him.
Well, we've got some people think Odegaard was worse. We've got, the link is in, guys. You can find it anywhere in the chat. I've put it in 5 or 6 times if you want to come on and have your say.
I said earlier on, I was talking about maybe taking Jorginho off and putting Vieira on. People say, no, we'll be even worse off because midfield's going to get overrun. But if you analyse the game, the midfield wasn't really the problem. Where did the goals come from? No, it was not.
No, they came from the flanks. Yeah.
But defensive errors where we've been poor for weeks.
You know, we have, and kind of holding our breath at set pieces as well. Here's where I want to kind of share with you some. I never make notes, but I felt compelled today to make notes because I'm tired of losing games like this. Now, look, the sky's not falling. We're still second in the league, but we all know that this Manchester City team can go on a run and not lose another game this season. When I was on Sky Sports this morning, Demsek, I talked about the siege mentality that Pep has built, acting like a character from a Martin Scorsese movie. Everyone in the media writing about it, kind of people lauding it. And in a way, it's sickening considering how Manchester City have breached financial rules over 100 times. Yet Pep comes out and I'm not leaving this chair and does all these things. And yet people want to throw darts at Arsenal, whereas I think the football world should actually be rooting for a team like Arsenal to disrupt things and win the league and add into the mix a different scenario for the Premier League. But here we are again, where we've allowed people the opportunity to point the finger at us.
But it's a bit like the Arteta-Klopp thing last season, when Arteta went loopy at Klopp, and that got the Liverpool crowd going. The Liverpool team got up. It's almost as if at half-time, Pep got at the players. Because second half, City came out with a different attitude.
Second half, City made us look like chopped liver. I'm going to bring in Evgeny here right now as well to join us, and I'll also bring the bearded Gooner into the house as well. I'm flying solo this evening, and you know what? Last minute, I decided, seeing as there's some of you in the chat that have a lot to say, I'll bring you into the mix. Evgeny, what's your takeaway from tonight? Hello.
My impression is that the lack of party was actually mentally telling on other players. I think they were just accustomed to him on the pitch and they relied mentally on him a lot. And the lack of him was just a mind switch for them, I think.
Do you think because Partey played against Everton and we lost? I mean, is that really, are we really going to be talking about the fact that we lost this game because of Thomas Partey? Because I actually think that Jorginho did a great job in midfield and Xhaka was the weak link in the midfield today. I just don't know if I can buy the Partey argument after the poor display against Everton where he was present, you know?
Yes, I understand that. I'm not singling out the performance of Jorginho because the drop-off wasn't really bad, particularly. I mean, it's kind of a mental thing probably for other players, and they're just not kind of as much relying on Jorginho. That's the thing that I'm kind of pointing out to.
Okay, so hello, bearded Gooner. How you doing, mate? Welcome.
Good. Hey, life goes on, right?
Well, it does, but I'm not. Okay, so I've been very positive and I've been sticking with this, and I supported us when we finished fifth last season. It's just one game, but it's against City. But I will not be moved. I will not shift my gears at all on this one. It is these games where we've been breaking ducks this season. We beat Tottenham twice. We've beaten Chelsea. We've beaten Liverpool. We've beaten Manchester United. We still need to go away to Liverpool. We still need to play Chelsea one more time this season, bearded. And at the same time, these are the games you have to get a result from if you want to be champions of England. And in the second half, the better team took over and they schooled us.
Well, I was talking to Ryan right toward the end of the game and texting back and forth, and I was pretty pissed off. I'm not going to lie to you. But first of all, I've said about us for a while now this season that there are just certain things we're missing that the champions aren't missing. We're not there yet, and this game shows that. They're the champs. We're the ones trying to dethrone them, and they're still on top. It's self-inflicted wounds. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. I agree with you wholeheartedly on Jorginho versus Partey. I don't know that Thomas Partey makes a difference in this game. I did not think that Jorginho looked out of place at all. There were a couple moments where I'm like, I wanted to yell, but then, everything calmed down. It was all right. I think we all want to jump to blame something, someone, in the heat of this and in the anger and the frustration. If I try to just put a tempered spin on it, second youngest team in the league, and we haven't been here. They've been there. They know.
No, we were here. Okay, let me just interrupt real quick. Okay, because number one, firstly, no one has lost their temper on this show yet. We're just speaking passionately.
No,
Secondly,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Secondly, we have been here before in a different scenario where it's finishing for fourth and being in a pressurized situation versus going for the league, right? They're both different scenarios, but they're both in the spotlight, pressurized situations where your mental strength has to be strong and you need to start closing the deal. And Pep Guardiola has utilized the media. He has utilized the report that's come out against Manchester City. And I really don't like how he's been lauded for it, kind of, in the respect that they've broken rules. And he's this master and commander of a universe that he didn't know of anything going on. And he's like galvanizing his team and using the siege mentality. Fuck that. We are the Arsenal Football Club, and we're in a position to win the league. Always be closing. Do not be mental midgets in these moments. The criticism has been previously our mental ability and our mental strength. Okay. And what I'm sick and tired of is the fact that we can't have these open conversations where we're talking about at this point in the season, if you want to win the title, you've got to not lose these games. Period.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing that I disagree with. Let me ask you this. If you look at them on paper and you look at us on paper, forget the game. Gun to your head. Who you taking?
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter who I'm taking.
But what I'm saying is that I think there's
the
still
point is you've got to change the narrative at some point. We're going to be judged on these moments. And we haven't even seen the pressure that's going to come from the media and the pundits and all that type of stuff yet, right? And that will. And Arteta's been really good at closing that off and stuff like that. But I'm just sick and tired of people being, wow, they're so good. And, they've got so much money and they spend this and that and whatever. No.
I don't like it. I don't like that they do it. I mean, I could sit here and go on a diatribe about what is wrong with football. and that's not going to help anybody. I mean, the sport as a whole is fucked. But if they've broken the rules, punish them for it. We'll see what happens when the independent investigators come in and tell them to open their books, and when they're like, yeah, sure, come right on over here, fellas, and they open the books and there's a blank check made out to the FA and a blank check made out to the Premier League and a blank check made out to UEFA, and they just fill in whatever you want, and there's the fines, and everything goes away, and everything's great. I don't want to make. I'm not trying to make excuses for us. I just think we're just not there. The thing that aggravates me more is dropping points to Everton, dropping points to Brentford, dropping points at Southampton. Those are the matches that I'll look back on this year. If we don't win the league, those are the matches that I'll look back on and say, those are the games that there is zero excuse to drop points in. You lost to the champion.
I'd like to say that in the last 5 games, all competitions, the team's let 8 goals in, including today's game.
We've been terrible.
That is not league winning form. We are sort of not scoring goals, right? But first, for me, a bit like George Graham, I want to stop the goals going in. I'm happy with a few 0-0s. We can all sit here and say, well, Eddie should have hit that header in the first half. Saka should have hit it with his left foot and not tried to go with his right foot. Right? There's 2 that we missed. But at the end of the day, the team let 3 in. Mm-hmm. 1 goal due to Tomiyasu. Stupid back pass. Second goal, defensive error again. Third goal, I'm not sure whether that's City playing through us or whether we made an error. Right? But we need to stop conceding goals. We've come up against a team, unlike Man City, where you can't beat them 4-2. Go down, you ain't coming back.
So can I just take a time out? Because these are the things I can't and won't tolerate. I will not tolerate people that make comments on a game. We're talking about a single game. We are not talking about changing a narrative to suit a new agenda. Weak mentality of a fan base not helping us move to bigger things. Mikhail, why don't you talk about a weak mentality of a team that just dropped off in the second half instead of coming at me or the people that have popped in to say hello on the show? Please stop this. What? I just don't get it. So what? You can't criticize a loss when all you're saying is at some point your team needs to actually start winning these kinds of games in order to step up and take it to the next level? In the first half, we were great. What happened? Why did we drop off? Evgeny, why did we drop off in the second half? Why? What happened? They took the Silva experiment out of the game, and I feel like that really did elevate and change things for them.
We just crumbled
completely.
For the lack of experience and some.
But this is what I'm talking about. Like this is why we can't continue to do that, to do the same thing over and over again. The mental attitude, like crumbling against the City team. We're at home. It's been a fortress. This was the time to change the narrative. I'm not ridiculing the players. I'm not saying anything disrespectful. I'm not calling for the manager's head. I, as a fan, am just saying, why couldn't we win this game finally and make a statement? It's going into year 4 now.
But this is, again, a very young team.
It's a young team with Xhaka in it and Thomas Partey in it and Jorginho in it now, and a young team that has experience. Saka may be young, but he's a leader in the team. You know, Ben White might be young, but he's really mature. Ramsdale might be young, but he's mature. Tomiyasu might be young, but he's mature. The manager is young, but he's wiser than his years. So when we laud them and we put them here, why can't we just criticize a little bit when they don't deliver here? And the excuse is always they're young.
Actually, I agree, because Zinchenko is one of the most experienced players in this squad, also given the accolades he's got, and he was just atrocious at moments. I agree. But I just don't think there's some particular thing I can single out as the reason or maybe two particular reasons why we crumbled. But this is obviously a mental thing, and probably this is actually, there is actually some blame that Arteta and the coaching staff must take. Maybe actually such a sudden and unexpected disappearance of Partey from the starting lineup was a bit of a blow that they were not ready for, actually, maybe.
We can't be a one-man team. Okay, I'm going to give you each the opportunity to give your closing statement of the game, and I'm going to start with you, BG.
Just, my final thought will just be to your point here with Arteta, that the other team gets paid to play too. Pep Guardiola is one of the best in the business, and he made an adjustment at halftime. We didn't make any adjustments. We were happy with the way things were going, but you have to account for, and we played brilliantly in the first half. You have to account for the adjustments that are going to come your way, and we don't really seem to do that. We don't have an answer in the second half, and we've seen this now against Everton. We saw it against Brentford, and now we've seen it against City. There has to be a change, not of player, but of tactics where, okay, they did this. How do we counter it? Because what they're doing now is working for them and it's slowing us down. It's impeding our progress. So this is where Arteta has to mature as a manager and not just say, well, but I'm going to keep playing the way that I want to keep playing. And hopefully we figure it out. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Thanks for having me on, so appreciate it.
All right, mate. And you can catch the Bearded Gooner and his show after the Highbury Squad. Let them know where they can find you.
Go on YouTube, just search BG Media or Bearded Gooner. It'll pop up. It'll be myself and Ryan from the Arse Brothers. And we might just do the same thing that you did. We might throw a link in there and let people jump on and have their say. So appreciate it.
All right.
So,
okay, mate. You take care.
You too.
Yeah. Bye. Bye. All right. Well, Demsec, let's hear your words. By the way, you can also catch the Gooners podcast, Magic Mike and the boys after the show as well. Please go show them some love, Magic and the lads. Always showing those fellas love. I think Magic is also in the house as well. And I just wanted to thank Magic as well for his lovely care package that he sent this week. Let's just say I have a lovely candle and some fluffy socks. Demsec, what's your takeaway before you leave?
My takeaway is we need to cut out stupid errors and we need to find a way of keeping a clean sheet. Because that's
the goals, it's been bad. The defense has been, you brought it up and I'm so happy that you did, because the one thing that was kind of the foundation of everything from last season to this has been that back line. And can someone, I've been a bit out of the loop the last couple of weeks, guys, but has our set piece coach quit? Or,
so.
Yeah.
And I thought partly it was down to Tommy coming out of the team. And I was really pleased that Tommy came in because aerially he's so strong. But then he comes in, he hasn't been playing, and he makes a stupid error. You can't account for that, can you? But, George Graham, we've got to stop conceding. Because Eddie up front ain't good enough.
Well, by the way, how much fun did you have at Gooner? Did they kill you completely? How is your... I
think my wife had more fun than I did because the ladies decided that she was going to be a Gooner. Okay. Mike tried to get me hammered a few times. I think I did on the Sunday, but I managed to swerve it quite a bit. I do have quite a bit of different medications that I take, so there was that always in my mind that I need to do X, Y, Z. But Mike was the perfect gentleman. He won't like me saying it on air, but he was the perfect gentleman to both of us.
I love it.
I really enjoyed it, and we might be back for GG10.
All right. I love that. Brilliant. Demsec, thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you always. Thank you. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Let's see. Rocky says, thank you for your show tonight. So wishing you and yours the best. Thank you. Appreciate it. Evgeny, what are your parting words this evening?
I think Arteta has learned quite a lot over the course of all these years while he's been the Arsenal manager. But there's always been that arrogance element in him that has been a worrying thing. And I think that it's telling again, because he's kind of sticking to the plan and he's too rigid to change the plan. Like playing Zinchenko always in that inverted role and not going for Tierney,
for Tierney.
refusing to go for Tierney per se.
I will say, of everyone's parting comments, this one to me is the most fundamental, Evgeny, is the inability to see and yet see everything. Because I think Arteta sees everything, but then he has this inability. I don't know if it's a trust thing with him. I think it's a huge element. But when you can see that Zinchenko hasn't been that great in the last 2 games, he lost possession today. He wasn't great in the final third. I'm not even sure the inverted role kind of played well for him today. I thought Jorginho picked up the slack a lot for him and Xhaka. And if you're Kieran Tierney, I don't blame you if you're thinking you're surplus to requirements in the summer. You're thinking, you know what, I may have to take away from move from Arsenal. If I want to be a starter or if I'm happy to be part of a squad, which many players are, he will stay. But I just don't understand. And you keep with Eddie. Like, okay, you know, Pep Guardiola does crazy things. And I don't like a lot of the crazy things that he does, Evgeny. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, Trossard comes on. Maybe throw Martinelli down the middle. Who cares? Like, try it. Because Eddie's doing nothing. He's missing the crosses. He's missing his timing. He was just awful today on his positioning. Everything he did was wrong.
By the way, Tierney is quite a mentality monster as well.
Correct.
Maybe it's just quite subtle to put into the mix for the manager to go with his selection.
I just don't get it. I don't understand. Here's the stats, right? Before you go, I'll give them to you.
Yeah.
They had we had 64% possession. They have 36. We had 10 shots. They had 9. We had 1 on target. I don't know if was that the penalty. They had 6. We had 523 passes. They had 301.
Actually, that efficiency was in one of the past matches you singled out when we were having much less possession and we made a lot more, just made the most of what we could do with the much fewer passes we had. I don't remember which game particularly that was.
Yeah. Well, look, Evgeny, I'm thank you for joining me. I appreciate you stepping in and saying hi, and hopefully we can bounce back because we do have some winnable games coming up. But hopefully there's nothing else seeping into this.
Last single point. You also remember that cross from De Bruyne from a free kick when the ball hit the crossbar. I think recently that has been a very, very worrying thing. Just
it really has. Set pieces have been worrying. Anything coming in from the bylines, even if it's not a set piece, is worrying. And that whole situation where it did hit the crossbar and then eventually Ramsdale punched it out. Yeah, that was worrying. Good point. Evgeny, thank you so much. Let everyone know. Thank you. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Moscow.
Very nice. Very nice. You know, I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, Evgeny. I have to say that I had a friend who lived in Moscow and I visited Moscow and St. Petersburg, and the people that I met there were lovely. And I really appreciate you and thank you for listening to the show.
Thank you, Sophie.
You take care.
Take care, squaddies.
I'm sure they will. Okay, bye-bye. All right, those are some views of the Arsenal Nation. If I'll get a last minute folk in, if anyone else wants to have their say, there is the link again. Exactly, MK. The people are the people, not the government, 100%. And Trossard came on, made a difference. I thought that maybe it was too late. Should have brought him on, just want to buy people left, right, and centre me. Let me read the rest of my notes to you. We're going to get Kev's breakdown on the tactical side of things as well. But let's be honest, in the first half, we played really well. How many panicked when Thomas Partey went out? I did. Felt like, here we go again. It's that part of the season. Thomas Partey gets injured. Arsenal fans will revert to January transfer window type. But I thought Jorginho did a really good job. And by the way, have you all forgotten Jorginho's clearance off the line, which could have actually made it 2-1 earlier and 4-1 on the night? I'm going to give you my notes. They're not in an Excel spreadsheet. I hate Excel. I always get Tony to do my Excel spreadsheets. Don't tell anyone, though. There are no options. No options. Well, let me ask someone who I love and adore if there's any options. He's probably on a way to doing his own show, and now he's frozen in time, and he's making my seamless production value look absolute garbage. There he is.
Yeah, sorry about the internet situation. I really, you saw that you put the link out, and I'm like it's just a habit for me to click on it.
I know. I love it.
So
even you, the brightest of, I'm all right. I'm not, I'm bummed, Mike. I'm not, and I know you know me, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not bummed at everything and all. And I wanted to win this game. I wanted us to change the narrative.
Me too. And you know what? I mean, I think it's okay to. I'm frustrated. I thought we outplayed them in the first half, and at halftime I was absolutely ebullient and thought we were gonna do it. And you have to examine what went wrong in the second half, because we were by far the lesser team in the second half. And
what do you think happened in the second half, Mike? Because they made the adjustments and we didn't until very late, and their adjustments basically trumped what we didn't do. We kept to the same formula for a while. And is that how you saw it?
Yeah. I mean, I said to the folks I was watching at the pub with today, great group of people in Sarasota, by the way, who I've just met.
Nice.
The Gooner family gets bigger and bigger. But I said to them, I said, with that penalty and ending even and outplaying them in the first half, the halftime team talk wrote itself. And yet, whatever he said to them and whatever he did or didn't do with the substitution patterns, we were outcoached in the second half. We were flat out.
I felt the same.
Outcoached, outplayed, outmaneuvered, out efforted, out wanted to, and that, it's those occasions where that happens, where you start reminding yourself, if you want to feel better about it, like I do, you start reminding yourself where we are in this process and saying, you know what, we're a young team, but those are excuses. They're not going to make anyone feel better on the day.
Right.
And like I said in chat before, if you're looking at this on a year-to-year basis, you look at where we've come in our last 2 games against Manchester City and the 8 games we played before that, and you see progress. But that's not going to make anyone feel better right now.
Mike, I saw more progress in the game we lost 2-1 last season than this one. This one felt like a collapse in the second half, and I think that was the worrying thing. And I don't know if I've seen a more contrasting performance from us first half to second half this season. I know we've gone up in the first half this season and just kind of played it out, but I don't know if we've been so organized against a very quality, high-profile team like City and be dominant in our deployment of who's here, who's there. I just felt like we were so professional in the first half. And the second half, I was losing my shit. And Tony was like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know who we became. Like, what happened?
No, we collapsed. We absolutely. I mean, and we didn't collapse in the sense of some of our collapses in the past, where all of a sudden the next thing we know, we look up and it's 4-1. So maybe that's a bit of a positive to take from it. But look, I made the mistake last year of talking about how our losses were better losses, and I meant it in a very, very specific way, and it was taken out of context. But I don't blame anyone for taking that out of context, because you don't want good losses. You want
Mike. Let me ask you this before you drive off and get ready for your show, and I bring Bill in, who's patiently waiting in
Bill's
the
the
green
best.
room. If we had Thomas, I started the show saying, don't tell me Thomas Partey, because we lost with Partey against Everton. Jesus, I do think now is becoming an issue.
We didn't lose this game because of Thomas Partey. Jorginho was fine today. He cleared the ball off the line, saved us, capitulating earlier than we would have. I mean, look, you'd always rather have him play, but that wasn't the reason we lost. Our back four today was horrendous. And that's been the strongest part of our 11 this entire season, but they weren't together. I feel for Tomiyasu, because I mean, Ben White has had his struggles, and Tomiyasu was brought in, and just massive individual mistakes from him today. I don't know how you sort that out, but it wasn't about Thomas Partey today. It was about just coping with the pressure. It was about this mentality of the team continuing to be on a wobble. And I honestly, and I'm one of the more positive people that there are out here, of always trying to put things in perspective. It's not a fake thing. It's just I need to feel good. I don't want to feel bad, so I always try to find a way. I'm seeing us struggling against Villa on Saturday morning because of the mental place where this team is right now. And the first half was so reassuring that we were breaking out of that, and the second half was such a gut punch. So now Saturday becomes the most important game of the season, and then next Saturday becomes the most important game after that. And we have to get our swag back. It's that simple.
Totally.
We have the players,
and Emery's coming off.
City's a better team than we are right now.
Oh, and they always have been.
They always have been. And that doesn't mean that they're going to finish ahead of us, but they've not had the mental togetherness to keep a title-winning season together. And for some reason, these FFP charges and whatever else it is, they now have that. They have what? They've played 24. They've got 14 games left, 42 points left on the table. I'll be shocked if they don't get 39 of them. So for us to stay in this and to have a chance, we cannot drop points anymore, because they are in the ascendancy in their mentality, and we are on a full tilt wobble at the point.
Yeah, I mean, Villa had a brutal loss last week, didn't they? But they're, they've been better, and they've definitely been more organized under Emery. And we know they're going to be up for us. Everyone's up for us. Everyone's up for us. Everyone should be up for you. I'll bring Bill in so you could say hello and goodbye. But what's happening? What's happening next, Magic Mike? Where are you going? Tell everyone where they can tune in, because we're going to tune out in a little bit here after Bill and I have a little bit of a exchange.
Yeah. On my way home from the pub right now. I'll be home. I'm going to be in the pool very shortly, because I'm going to drown my sorrows in 10,000 cubic feet of chlorinated water. But it's going to be me and Jared, maybe a couple more people. It's not an open mic show, but we're gonna figure out what happened today. So please tune in. You can watch us on delay and watch Bearded Gooner. Or
maybe I'll come over and rant, because I can super swear on your show. I did ruin my algorithm today, but that's fine. And Mike left, and when I said I can super swear on your show, but that's
you have. It may not be open mic, but you have an open invitation. So so absolutely. And Bill is fantastic on these shows. So enjoy talking to Bill, and we'll see Bill over on.
All right, Magic. You take care. And MK sending you some enjoyment. Enjoy Florida, as are some other US Gooners here in the chat.
100%. Take care, Soph.
And of course, the Europeans who love you as their adopted brother. All right. See you, mate.
We'll see you there, Mike.
I'm going to put my fluffy socks on now from your care package, because they're the best. I've stolen them. All right, Bill, what's going on, Bill? What do you think about what happened today? You do the talking.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words. I mean, like Mike, I'm always trying to be as positive as I can be, but this is just the build up to the game, the excitement, everything. I was just so hyped, and to lose it like we did, it it's gutting, but it, like I said in the chat earlier, at least this wasn't City dominating us necessarily.
But they still beat us. That's the annoying thing. So
They
we
still beat us.
dominated them, and we dominated them. We lost 2-1 last season. We dominated them in one half. They, I think, schooled us in the second half, and they still beat us. And I just wanted to put this one up for you, Bill, from Neil, because he says Tottenham and Brentford managed to beat them, and we can't. How? How? How do you explain
It's
that?
a great question. I mean,
It is a great question. I can't answer it.
I mean, I know Arteta knows way more than me about football, and he hasn't even been able to figure it out yet. And that's the frustrating thing. I think I saw a stat while I was watching the game that Arteta has managed to beat every single team in the Premier League at least once since he took over at Arsenal, except City. That
Mhm.
they are his Achilles heel, and it's just so frustrating. I mean, I really felt good.
What happened in the second half? Tell me what you saw that happened in the second half, because it's a cliche, but it definitely was a game of two halves.
Yeah, I mean, it almost felt like we just capitulated at both ends of the field. Not necessarily in the middle, but just at either end, they sort of figured out our defense. I think people have said it again. Zinchenko just was not up for it today, and when Holland shifted from going at our right side with Saliba and over to like Gabriel and Zinchenko, he really was able to get the better of them a lot. And just at the other end, we just could not fashion any sort of good chances, and the chances that we did fashion, we just could not put away. I'm frustrated, just as frustrated as you with Eddie at this point. He just has not looked the same in these past few games. I love what he's done for us so far this season coming in for Jesus. I mean, that the half the fan base was having a meltdown when Jesus was injured because they thought, well, that's season over. And Eddie came in those first couple of games and he was on fire. He was scoring game after game, and we were, putting aside the fact that he, doesn't offer necessarily as much as Jesus does elsewhere on the field, for the fact that, okay, but if you get the ball to him in the box, he's going to put it away. We've gotten the ball to him in the box these past couple of games, and he hasn't put it away.
No, and
And
he had several chances, to be honest, didn't he? I wanted to put Tewo's point up here and get your thoughts on it. Trossard should have started ahead of Martinelli. Ben White should have started ahead of Tomiyasu. Arteta messed up tactically. I could see why he started Tommy for the aerial support against Haaland. I could see why he started Martinelli, who has been another trusted player for him. I don't know why Arteta, who has been ruthless in removing players, struggles to utilize an entire squad.
Yeah, I can see why he used Tomiyasu. I almost think it was a little bit of defensive stability in the absence of Partey. He might have thought that Jorginho wouldn't have been the best defensively necessarily, and maybe Ben White's a bit more of an attacking fullback than Tomiyasu. So he put him in. That may have been a reaction to Partey's injury, but I think over if you look at maybe the past 3 games, Martinelli's maybe been on the ups. He definitely didn't look his best in a couple games ago, but he's grown into the games a bit more. So maybe that was a bit in Arteta's thinking. Yeah,
If I'm going to ask you to give me your summary before I let you go, how do you summarize this? We haven't won in 4 games, which is really unusual this season. I went on Sky Sports News defending us this morning, saying, you know what, this is the time. It's now. We can win this, and we didn't. We we can't close out against City. Is this a case of Everton beat us at Goodison? Everton always beat us at Goodison. Is this a case of Spurs beat City? They always beat City at least once in the season. Is it a case of it's just a bogey team that we just can't win against? Or at some point do you have to say no? Like I'm saying, you've got to change the narrative. What's your exit on this one, mate?
So I do think this was just a bit of unfortunate circumstances coming up against two teams that were set up perfectly to counter exactly what we were trying to do in Everton and Brentford. And then City, like they've said, like people have said, they're just the better team than us right now. And on the margins, they were the better team on the day, and we just couldn't take advantage of those marginal chances. And I guess in closing, I would say the reason it's a good thing that we're feeling this bad about it, because in the past, maybe we're fighting for 6th, 5th, 4th, and a loss to City, it's like, yeah, well, it's City. No, this year we are Arsenal. We are top of the league. We are fighting tooth and nail to win the Premier League this season. And a loss like this is going to feel much worse. And that's a good thing. You got to hold on to that feeling, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. And, it's great that we're feeling this bad. It sucks that we're feeling this bad, but the lows are going to be super low and the highs are going to be super high. Let's just hope that in the end, it's ending on a super high.
Okay. Let everyone know where they can find you so they can give you a follow on the old social sphere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm at GoonerWorks on Twitter. I've got a website that a blog that I occasionally post to, goonerworks.com. And for those of you who are on there, you can also find me at Mastodon at GoonerWorks with Magic Mike as well. And of course, I'll always be in the chat and here and on the Gooners pod.
Epic. Well, we'll get you back, Bill. Have loved having you on, and thank you so much for clicking on the link and tuning in. And let's hope that we can bounce back from this at the weekend. And
Absolutely.
You take care and have an amazing rest of the week.
It's been a pleasure, Sophie. Thanks.
Cheers,
you
mate.
too.
You take care. Bye-bye. That's Bill, everyone. Go give him a follow. Okay. Listen, we're going to be back with Super Kev. Super Kev's going to give you his thoughts as well. We're going to get stuck into some of the nuts and bolts, the matchups, etc., etc. I just want to give you my final thoughts. I get the Tomiyasu inclusion, but if Mikel's going with his trusted 11, why? Why not trust Benjamin White? Benjamin White has faced Manchester United this season. He's faced Chelsea. He's faced Tottenham. He's been one of our best players, but didn't trust him today. He injured. Something going on since the World Cup. Not been the same player. What's that about? Tomiyasu had good moments better moments in the second half, but he was a bit of a liability. For me, here's the you could cut the atmosphere with a knife at the beginning, and I think the fans were great today. I think we've also shown our moments of stress. In the first half, for me, Saka was shining superstar, and they treated him like a superstar. When have you seen Bernardo Silva make 7 awful tackles like that? And it wasn't until the 46th minute in that first half where he was given a yellow card. In the first half, I'm going to argue that our shape out of possession was really disciplined. It was really organized and consistent. Like I said, I made these notes because I was really impressed. I mean, yeah, we would cheat with the ball, which resulted in dangerous opportunities for Manchester City, but we stayed in the game. The team also didn't give up after going down. Heads were up, broad shoulders. They were high-fiving each other after we conceded. I thought Jorginho was solid. I thought he was vocal. I thought he was a leader out there, getting to the plays, communicating throughout the game. He supported the back line. And he broke the lines as well. Few opportunities that he served to Eddie. That header in the first half. Eddie's got to finish that. It always felt like he was a step behind Jorginho's brain at times and anyone else who was giving him a pass. And to be fair to Jorginho, the clearance in the 68th minute off the line saved us. from maybe saving a point in this game. A game that we all felt, just don't lose it. But in the end, we did. Tough. Really tough. In the second half, it started discombobulating for me. There was that tete-a-tete between Kevin De Bruyne and Arteta, which was the most exciting part, I think, for the first 10 minutes of the game. And then they took over. They absolutely took over the match. Coaching-wise, player-wise, quality-wise, investment-wise, you could see it all there on the pitch. And maybe we'll get there one day against a team like that. Have we been great this season? Absolutely, 100%. And all I'm saying tonight is these are the games that you want to turn the corner, where you want to build a new narrative. You beat Manchester City at home. You go ahead in the league. Now it's equal on points. Maybe they've been the favourites all along, but you know what? It was exciting to be in the race. And it still is. We've got some really winnable games ahead of us. I did think that first half was a mature, organised performance, but always be closing, as Alec Baldwin said in Glengarry Glen Ross. Quality up top. I love Eddie. You love Eddie. We all love Eddie. But Eddie may not be the answer. And we've always said that over a long period of time on this show. Is he going to be the answer? And I just don't understand how you can play that first half and then dip so much in the second half, but then not have answers. Okay, so Pep changed things up. What are you going to do? How are you going to combat what he does? And I think that's lacked against Everton, Brentford, and in this game. Can we still win the league, Demsek? Sure. Of course we can. But will we? Maybe not. Because there are teams with much more quality and depth. And City go on a run. They may not lose another game for the rest of the season because you know what? They may have had their losses already. We found bad form at the wrong time of the season, but it is still almost at the right time of the season to correct it. There's time, and we've got favourable fixtures. But we also have an away fixture against Liverpool. We've got to play Chelsea. We've got to play the man we sacked next weekend. We have to come out of this 4-game funk. And then maybe you put your eggs in the Europa League basket, not because we're not going to finish in the top 4, but because we want to win something. The Arsenal Football Club is winning. It's about winning. We've been waiting for this moment. We've been salivating to be in a game like this, to play in a match like this, to be relevant again. All I'm saying is I wish we could have closed the deal tonight, because the process to progress would have taken a whole other level. It really would have. And I like this. Raging. City showed us no pity. They were merciful. We're still in it. It's not over yet. So what's Arteta going to do? This is where he earns his crust. He's been criticised. He's been vilified. I've criticised him and now supported him for the last 18 months. We're in a situation where we can still win the league. Mentally, I've always felt like it's our biggest challenge. And I don't know how that's going to go. But I look forward to Kevin's feelings about this because I know he desperately wanted to win this match. And I think he's going to be highly disappointed with the fact that we did not. Newman, maybe one day you will get a coin. Keep supporting. Absolutely, Bonzo. Don't give up. It may be the hope that kills you, but hope is what we live for. It might not be a plan, but it's something that we live for every single day in this world. Because hope gives us a vision of something that could happen. Right, we have a game in hand, runs with cows. You're 100% correct. Got to win that game in hand. There's no room for error anymore for the Arsenal Football Club. This was a night that we could have shown the world what we were made of, and we failed to do it. And that's, you know what? Might be okay with some fans. It's not okay with me. This was the game I wanted to not lose. If we're talking about 1-1 tonight, different conversation. But to end up losing this game 3-1 after the first half that you had, acceptable. Okay, that's it. That's all we've got time for this evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of the conversation. I'll get some of your last minute comments up. The Get Along gang made City and these simps look like they gate crashed their own party. Right, Nick, but remember there is EI, not the way you spelled it. Okay. We have to stop this funk. 4 games, totally. Come along nicely as a team. We just lost. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Of course we're coming along nicely as a team, but we just lost. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go. Yeah. Funky hair. How about that? Listen, love you guys. I'll see you next time. Super Kev will be back. In a nutshell, we lost the game that we wanted to win. We should have won, and we didn't. We love the players. We love our club. We love everything that we've done this season. But we want to see it through. This is the evolution of the Arsenal, and it's okay. It's okay. We got bullied in the second half. We didn't want that. So we live on and we move forward. Thanks for joining me. Super Kev is going to be giving you his thoughts before the week is out. Do not miss it. And we will also be looking ahead to the battle against Emery and how that will go. Until then, love you guys. Thank you for always joining. Keep the faith. You know what? It's okay to be sad that you lost today against a team that you really hoped you would have won against. At ease, everyone. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.